All right, you give me an action this time.
Action! Reviewing makes you feel good? Is that?
Reviewing makes me feel good. I ain't afraid of bad movies, even though none of these were bad, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll start better late than never, because we didn't see Afterlife.
Afterlife, which came out in 2021.
Which is when we had our little, I think, is that when we did, or was it 22 that was the Home Alone one came out? Everything is so
I think that was the
together.
end of 21. We started this
we temporarily, yeah, we did a little test.
Yeah, a little test of the show. So we weren't on, and that was like, theaters weren't open.
It was real weird.
It was really hard to watch fucking movies if it didn't drop on streaming.
Right.
Like
they were
doing
weird things, like you couldn't buy a ticket next day. Like it was just a chaotic garbage.
Theaters weren't even open.
Or half of them around us weren't open.
Yeah. So like it was a weird time to put out a Ghostbusters movie.
Which did pretty well.
Did it?
In the the pandemic, yeah.
Huh. I didn't know.
It made basically what female Ghostbusters did on half the budget.
Okay.
Which is why they considered, I don't know what that is, a ghost.
A little bug. Bug ghost.
So we'll get into Afterlife first, and then the next video
better
will
late
be
than never for Afterlife.
Yeah.
When they're not afraid to know ghosts, blah, 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 whatever.
Now, Afterlife critic reviews, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it's in the 60s.
I'm trying to catch a ghost.
That's funny. It looks like
I'll CGI.
CGI ghost in. I was gonna say.
Got him.
So the first Afterlife isn't critically loved. It's okay, but like audience scores in the 90s, and I can see why.
Okay.
Because I absolutely.
I think I know why people don't like it. Because they bitched and go, "This guy, it's not in New York City. It's just in this farm." And I'm like, that's a good twist.
It's a good
on a thing we already
restart
know.
a franchise
we're in
without.
This small town Ghostbusters, you know? We don't have there's no active Ghostbusters.
Nope, we haven't seen Ghosts since '89. Well, since the game.
Fucking goddamn Slimer.
The game is the actual, which is really funny because it's canon and it's the third story. But that's like the end of the ghost hunting. Because they even mentioned in the second movie, or no, in the Afterlife, that Egon takes off.
He leaves.
He just disappears one day, like 10 or 20 years earlier.
To go live on a farmhouse.
Right.
With all his ghost tech. He takes all the equipment and bounces.
Because there's no more ghosts. They say like, hey, we don't have jobs anymore. We got too good.
Right. Yeah.
Bankman said we were too good at our job.
We got too good. Yeah, and we busted all the ghosties. Like, which it's like.
Busted made him feel too good.
People die all the time. It's been 30 years since the first one. I'm sure a lot more ghosts have.
There's that line in Afterlife where I can't remember which character goes, there hasn't been one ghost sighting in 35 years.
Not a single ghost.
I think it might be Paul Rudd, and he kind of like has like a I don't believe you.
And spoilers, obviously the movie's been out for a couple years. You're probably watching it right now if you're going to see Frozen Empire anyway, so we're gonna spoil the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, get ready.
There are no ghosts except for in this town, which Gozer's the main bad guy again,
which is Olivia Wilde.
Oh,
I'm like, that looks like Olivia Wilde. I go, uncredited Olivia Wilde.
Like Gozer
I was like, she looks just like the original. Huh. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
All right.
But it's not like this portal's breaking, right? And we start with ghosts attacking Egon, like at his house. And, like that's why he dies, right? It's
right.
The ghost gets him.
Which it sounds like everything.
Is that Gozer?
Well, no, it's supposed to be like his guards or whatever from the first movie. Like I think everything is supposed to have circled back to the first movie, and this is where it all is coming from. That guy that's underground that discovered the things.
Right.
And like so that's all stems, and they find the years
Sumerian,
like 84, 89.
Okay.
Coincidentally, they left out.
2016. yeah. We're not gonna mention that bullshit, even though there was a big ghost dance party in New York. Fucking that movie sucks. Yeah, so I'm like, there's no ghosts. We get this family who has to like go to their father's house.
Yeah, they try to set it up to where if you don't know, like you need to know the property, but you don't also, because anybody that's watched the first two is like, oh, that's Spangler.
Those two kids look like Egon.
They make them
like they have curly dark hair and
One's
glasses.
got the glasses.
And glasses. Phoebe the daughter has the glasses, and Finn Wolfhard like, yeah, you are Harold Ramis.
What was that part
son.
where she finds his glasses and like puts them over her glasses, and they're like the same glasses?
Yeah. And it's like, we get Egon at the beginning. Do they say it's Egon?
No.
They
hint it. They won't show his, which I get. The real actor Harold Ramis died in real life, and they were trying. I thought like, oh, they're gonna be weirdly respectful and kill him off on screen by not showing him, which is really weird. But then they brought it all back at the end anyway.
They hide it the whole movie that they're not Spanglers. Like
she doesn't want to admit it. Part of it, I think that's what it is.
Even knows that like her dad was a Ghostbuster.
No, she does, because later in the movie, Phoebe's like, "Why didn't you tell me my fucked up.
Okay,
Because he was an asshole and he
right.
abandoned us.
You're right.
I don't even think half of it was real. And
You're right.
it's like it goes back to that whole
Okay.
people don't even want to believe it because it's been
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah, this movie sets up, we get the family, they move to Egon's house, and they're like, they got to discover, it's the Solo of Ghostbuster movies. Even though this is way better, where it's like, we got to find the trap. You know, we got to find the proton pack. We got to find all these MacGuffins.
The beginning was very
the EMF
by the numbers.
radar
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, like 20 minutes almost on the button, she finds the trap. Like
Yeah.
literally, structurally,
Yeah.
this thing is almost like, okay, hold on, we got to build.
the trap's like calling from under the chair. It's like, it's time.
Yeah, we're at
Find me.
end of first half of Act 1. Find the thing.
It's
Yeah,
the act break.
It- but it's fine because it's once you get past that, we have to establish why you're even here.
Which, we're at a Ghostbusters movie. We're seeing the
world is
Ghostbusters
amazing.
movie. I know, but it takes, for me, Afterlife, it takes too long
Okay.
to get going. But once it does, I'm in.
See, I appreciated that
I'm
though.
fucking in.
And
Yeah.
the fact, I think if they would have dived right in with ghosts, they'd have been like, "Well, why haven't you been making? What's everything going on
Where's
for
been the
30
Ghostbusters?
years?"
Where's the
Right.
Stance? Where's
So
Bank Ben?
you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
give it that whole society's pretty dumb, doesn't believe what even happened 2 years ago. So those are fake videos on YouTube. No one really believes New York.
Right. Right.
Now it makes more sense to go, oh, okay, yeah, because people are dumb. I mean,
People are
look,
idiots.
Look around.
Yeah. Yeah. We get the
And then
Jurassic
Paul Rudd's
World.
the one that screws everything up too by letting
Oh yeah.
the other ghost out.
Okay.
And that restarts the whole.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm saying,
The
I like
trap.
how he screwed every. Yeah.
That's where the ghost comes from.
Yeah.
He's in the trap, and they're like, "There's one in there. Like, we should fucking let him out." And they let him out, and why would you? Why would you
Let's
do
see.
that?
Let's see if it's real.
Why would you do that?
But like when people go, that's a plot hole, I go, no, that's how people are.
That's how people
let's
are.
See, let's see if we can get it open. I mean, I know you know personally people like that. Why
Yeah.
don't we just get it open.
Open it? Are you kidding me? I'd be like, it's a fucking Ghostbusters ghost trap. We gotta fucking open
what's
that
in
shit. We get the Jurassic World scene where they find the old car and they have to fix it up, which is I'm gonna compare this a lot to Force Awakens and
In Jurassic World, but they did it right.
But they
I
did
can't
it way
describe to you
better.
how much better it felt. We didn't
Yeah.
have all this wheel spinning and other stuff. Like we didn't have. They just show up almost underwhelmingly at the end.
Yeah.
Almost like, oh, you expected them to, so they don't need some ridiculous shit. They're just like, hey, we're here. and-
There's like one big action set piece before like the big finale, and it's where they're chasing the metal muncher ghost,
which
down
was
the
a
car.
tribute to Slimer.
She's like using the car like door that pops out the
Yeah.
side, and like I'm like,
Awesome.
this is working on so many levels
it was-
for me. Like I don't know why. The only thing that like didn't work, and I don't know why, and I know why, but the little puffs, the little Stay Puft.
Okay.
They're minions.
They're the bring the little kids.
They're the kids in. And I had a family behind me for Frozen Empire. Every time they were on screen, they could not stop like shouting about these little fucking Stay Puffs. Like, and they're adorable.
They're adorable, and I think if and when, I think they will, now that they've actually made Ghost Core like production studios to do all these projects, I think the third in this trilogy will be they're all going to get together and make
a
another
bigger
gigantic
Stay
Stay
Puft.
Puft, and we're going to have it all circle back around to one thing, which is cool. If that's, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get into that in the next movie. But
Yeah.
I really think that's where they're headed with that. And you're right, they were kind of irritating, but they at least played them up in the end of the movie to be like almost causing things to go,
fucking
hey,
shit up.
yeah, like at first you're just like, they're irritating, they're stupid, they're kids' toys, but at least they actually
Then
cause
they
them to
influence
cause
the
havoc.
story. Well, they make Paul Rudd get turned into a ghost dog.
Yeah.
When his windshield's busted out, there's one scene in Afterlife
That's really
where he
funny.
dives through the front of his
And there's,
fucking
like, this
windshield.
cart
So fucking good. Yeah, Paul Rudd killed it.
Oh, he killed it.
I'm not a fan of Finn Wolfhard. I think he did better in Frozen Empire.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his either.
than
He
this
was the
one.
weakest part of Afterlife.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Him and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
The chemistry was
The
not
Madam
there.
Web chick. Lucky is her name in this.
She's
these
way
movies.
better in the second
Way
one.
better in these
But
movies.
the first one, it's
Yeah.
almost like, hey, we got to have a teenage romance. We got to like,
It's Kid Ghostbusters.
gotta get in there.
Ghostbusters Junior. We got to have these kids be Ghostbusters Junior. Like, and then podcast. They're like third.
I liked that
He's
kid.
really funny.
I can believe how.
In Frozen Empire, he steals the show.
That's what I mean. Like,
almost,
he's
yeah.
really, like, most of the time those characters are like,
I hate these characters because they're not the characters that I like.
right.
Yeah.
But he nails it.
They're good. Yeah.
Like,
They're-
yeah, I was wondering what you would think of him.
Him and Phoebe, like they're dynamic. Like,
chemistry is really
and
good.
the second one, he's like podcast and Phoebe and podcast, fucking back on another adventure.
That's the funny, like, Dan Aykroyd in real life is famous for, like, Ghost and Alien and podcast, and he does all of that weird stuff.
And vodka. Yeah.
Vodka too, but it's really funny because there's like a scene because he's like pitching the podcast kid. He's like literally what he goes by podcast. He's pitching his podcast to everyone and he's telling everyone, hey, episode 46, it really finds its voice. And I really appreciated the callback joke.
Stupid callback.
It is,
but it's
like,
funny.
Because in real life, Dan Aykroyd is that guy. That would be the only subscriber because he's like really out there with his stuff.
You're my subscriber.
Like it's to me when people are like it doesn't have the Ghostbusters, but it does.
No, it does.
Like it waffles back and forth from cheese to sex jokes, which is what Ghostbusters is.
Yeah.
Like hey, we got it on. We were dogs. You know.
Yeah.
Like the Paul Rudd. That's like really funny.
Yeah.
Like even before, you know, because when they were like
like doggy style. Like
it's really funny.
It's low hanging fruit, but the deliveries make it
amazing.
Yeah, make it good. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10, only because I'm about to give Frozen Empire a higher score than that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
See, me and you might be different. I will say this: the end. I know you were spoiling it. The end. If they didn't make another one, I'd have been totally fine. Oh. The end is one of the best nostalgia big spoilers.
Big spoilers. Yeah, if you care at all,
like
click off.
People always go nostalgia's too much. It was perfect. Like I teared up. Perfect.
Ghost Harold Ramis shows up to father-son Kamehameha.
No words spoken.
Gozer.
And he's basically in tears the whole time.
Perfect.
And it's perfect.
Like them all blasting and him like showing up next to the 3 original Ghostbusters and they're like.
And everybody knows not to even say anything. They just kind of all half smile at each other and get the job done.
Like one-liners. They go, I'm sorry I didn't call. And Bill Murray's like, I figured you'd show up. Like, always need to get in on the action.
He was like, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
The daughter.
I had no idea.
Because I hadn't been spoiled and I was so appreciative of not being spoiled.
I have goosebumps right now.
Was it Caroline Kuhn? Is that her name? Khan?
Oh, the
mom?
The mom.
Right.
Yeah.
She played it so well. Like, I hate my dad. To the point, like, I mean, like one of the best performances. Seriously, for especially like a family kid. Like she's like, you believe her. Like I hate this piece of crap. And then when she finds the room at the end, like, oh, he was actually here to try to save the world. He isn't a piece of shit.
He had to.
He had to leave me.
Right.
And you can see it when he shows up and she's just like melting, and then it hugs him, and I'm like, oh man.
Which I'm glad she just like walked in the basement and like found these photos. It's not like. Telegram for
I know.
In 20 years I was said to deliver this to this house when
Back to the Future.
Yeah, like no, I don't need a fucking letter explaining everything why I did everything.
Right.
Like, I'm really appreciative.
No, that's what I'm saying. The ending stuck. I'm gonna give this
slam dunk. I didn't only thing I didn't like, and I know it's nostalgic and fan service, and we don't know where it's going, so it's like of course Gozer has to be the bad guy again. You know, and it's like
See, I think that was because they didn't know how this was going to be received. And there was a good chance this was going to be it for Ghostbusters.
People don't like original bad guys.
Nope.
Like,
so bring it all. And everyone loves the first Ghostbusters, so let's bring it all back to. That's what I mean.
And it's in a different setting. It's not just like, oh, she's going to summon the Stay Puft and they're going to be on top of the Empire State Building.
No, she blows that mountain out and brings that thing back from the first movie from the Empire. Like, this is amazing.
I'm like, this is working.
This is working.
It's working.
The first Ghostbusters movie is one of the, if not the best fantasy comedies of all time, period. Period. Like, I'll fight people on that. It's one of the best. It's funny.
Action-packed.
It's got drama. It's got genuinely creepy scares for back then. Like, it's the library scene with the...
Which, we'll get into it in the Frozen Empire review, but yeah.
so I'm going to give this one of the highest scores I've probably ever given a movie on this channel. I could not believe how well I liked the movie. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay.
And I might, like I said, I got hit with nostalgia bait, I'm sure, but
I understand
Ghostbusters is, like, I grew up watching it with my dad. You know, I was a little kid. I wasn't even born, I think, when the first one came out.
My first Ghostbusters, unfortunately, was 2016 Ghostbusters. And I had watched them as a kid, but, like, I watched 2016 Ghostbusters in fucking theaters because I was in high school and had nothing better to do with friends. And we tore that movie apart. No, it's horrible. It's bad. It's objectively bad. Like, individual performances, sure, fine,
whatever. It's even what Ernie Hudson, what Winston said. Like, hey, everybody in the movie was great. It just didn't coalesce right. No, it didn't come together.
The package sucks. Yeah. Like, the individual parts are fine, but the package is garbage.
It's not good.
Yeah. Afterlife was good. I'll disagree with the 9. Yeah, I'm definitely like a 7, but I understand, like, it's pure nostalgia.
No, and they did it right.
They do it right.
Like, hey, Jurassic World. Hey.
I'm surprised there wasn't Slimer in the first one.
I like that there wasn't.
I'm going to be honest. I'll do the fucking thing again, yeah.
I forgot to.
No, you're good.
I appreciated that they waited on that. They brought like another similar ghost. They made you think it was going to be. It's like he's in the bedroom, like you know what I mean? They make you think, or even the second one too. Like all these different hints in the first two, but they don't give you Slimer until the second one, which I really, really, really appreciate.
Yeah, they give you like the Muncher Metal
Yeah, it's
Mustard
like in the
Ghost.
same
Yeah.
kind of. It's a Cat 5 or whatever, you know.
It's like the only ghost in Afterlife, aside from Gozer, is the blue
Munchkin one.
Munchkin one.
Yeah.
There's like no other ghost, right?
Right.
It's a little weird,
It is weird.
right? Because she opens like the ghost hell portal at the end, and like.
But
no
then
other
all those
ghost.
traps, remember? They're all like spiraling
They
around,
are
and
all
then they hit the.
spiraling
And
around. Okay.
how did they do that movie on 75 million? And Disney and Marvel, they can't do shit on $300 million. I can't believe that. That farm scene looks amazing.
Looks really good. Yeah, and like Finn Wolfhard like zapping the fucking thing instead of blasting the ghost. I'm like, you're giving his character something to do. And then Frozen Empire comes out and he has literally nothing to do.
I'm gonna go hang out.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna bro down with Kumail Nanjiani and Slimer. Fucking yeah, we'll talk about it. Frozen Empire review coming probably tomorrow, right after this. Yeah, go watch Afterlife if you didn't see it. If you did, then
Watch it again.
That's why you're here.
I want a third one.
Yeah, I do. I really do want a third one. I don't care if it's bad. I just want it.
Just give me a
I
capper.
love these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just making sure everything after last time is still fucking running.
Do we want to?
It completely falls. The wheels come off in the third act. I mean, they explode. There's chunks falling off. It's,
Bryce Dallas Howard's breaking her sleeves.
yeah, she's breaking off the heels, and it's not. It's just. And then like the Raptors, like, hey T-Rex, you know, we need your help.
I'm gonna
against this
ride
other
you.
thing, and let's go. And you're just like, no. And then they made 2 more,
Yeah, and then they kept going.
and they got worse.
There is an extended cut of Dominion on Peacock. It's almost 4 hours. I watched it when I was editing. I couldn't tell what scenes they